Hola chamos y chamos, welcome back to Álvaro Dev Labs. First video of the year, that means that this 2022 is gonna be full of new content, so make sure to subscribe and drop a like, because we're gonna get our hands in more cool stuff this year, making frontend, probably 3D, Storyblok, Nox 3, Vue, more Vite, and who knows. So 2021 was the year for new technologies to emerge, such as Vite. If you don't know what is Vite, I have a video regarding that in the channel that explains everything you need to know to start with. Basically, it's a new front-end tool that allows you to quickly, and I mean really quick, build your application and improves a lot the developer experience. And it's fast, really fast. So this 2022 is gonna be all about expanding that Vite ecosystem, and the team behind it is doing a great job because they are creating new technologies based on Vite. The latest one to emerge is Vitest, which is gonna be the topic that we're gonna cover today. It's an alternative of Jest and other frameworks that you can use to test your Vite applications. It's really powerful, it's really quick, and I must say that the web page and the UI version of it is really nice. I've been using it this week in a personal project, and I must say that I'm really impressed by the work that they did. Some of the features that I enjoy the most is that you can use the same config and the same transformers plugins as Vite. You use the same setup for your app to run the test. It has an incredibly smart and really quick like hot mode replacement for tests, which is kind of cool. You can test components from Vue, Lead, React, everything you ever manage. And they have out-of-the-box TypeScript and JSX support. Something that I really enjoy is that you can use both Jest matchers, like the API from Jest, and you can also use chai assertions, which is kind of cool. If you don't know what is chai assertions, if you have used Cypress before, then you have used them. If you want to know more advantage of use of Vitest, there is an amazing thread in Twitter done by Jessica Sach, who is an architect from Cyprus, that states that the big thing about Vitest is that it gives you the consistency in execution environments between test and prod. Maintaining two sources of truth for the assets pipelines, model resolutions, and environment leads to bugs not being caught by tests. That's totally true. If you have everything done by the same thing, it's going to be easier to test, easier to catch the bugs, debugging, etc. There is a lot more in the thread, like the advantage. Some of them we already talked about, but we're gonna go deeper in it, like the Mocha and Jest matchers, and support for switching between ES DOM node and other environments, which is kind of cool. Start experimenting with it. The best way of having this project ready and stable is to contribute to it. So make sure you at least give feedback to the team and also try to contribute if possible in GitHub. So, Vitest is a blazing fast unit test framework powered by Vite. You can try it online. They have like a stack blitz projects in there, but we're gonna do it locally. So to install it, we can install it using Yarn. So here, let's open the command line and use Yarn and Vitest. I always have problems to pronounce it correctly because it's French. So sorry if I do it incorrectly. Sorry if I do it wrong. Okay, so it should be it. You can Vite config.ts, and somewhere here you can add. Let's do it just here. You can add a test. Okay. And what we can put in that test. So let's go to configuring Vitest, config reference. So we have several options here. We can include which folders or the globe for folders. Also the naming conventions. I normally use test or spec for them, for the unit test. And this is all the extensions that it allows you to do it. You can also exclude, for example, the not modules, etc. You can set like handling the dependencies or externalizing them. It has a lot of things here. Actually, I'm not gonna touch any of them because the default ones are already nice, but for you to know that you can tweak them by using tests here. I'm gonna comment this part and use it as default. And let's create some code to test. As any other tested framework, we will need to add some scripts to the package JSON. So just below here, I'm gonna put test, and we're gonna include, well, in this case it's kind of fun because the auto-completion of the copilot says something, but it's not quite the command. It's gonna be Vitest, and for the coverage, we're gonna use Vitest coverage. Okay, so we save here in the documentation. You have all the command line commands. There are a lot of them. They're really similar to other frameworks. They have some more stuff, and here there are some examples to use it. So let's create our first test. Here I added some functions in TypeScript, which basically helps you, like if it's a variable is a boolean, is a function, is a number, if it's empty, it's a promise, etc. And also we have this one, which creates a slugify strings, for example, for the router. And they have, like, whenever the backend sends you a DTO data object with a snake case, and you want to transform it into camel case to use in JavaScript, I have these functions that I use in some projects. So we are gonna test those. To create a test, just in the same, you can do it in several ways. There are people that create a test folder and include them all there. I'm more likely to use in the same folder, I create also a spec or a test.ts. So in this case, I'm gonna create it. I'm gonna call it this is test ts. Let's close the sidebar to have more space. And here we're gonna import describe it from Vite, and we're gonna include, well, not is, we're gonna include the ones we want to test. So let's use the boolean first. So is boolean, yeah, okay, autocomplete. Cool. And describe. So we're gonna test is boolean, and inside of it, let's create a test case, which is gonna be should return true if variable is boolean. Okay, something really simple. We do this and we expect that is boolean true to be true. We don't need the second one. And also we need to import this from Vitest. Okay, cool. So let's do another one. Exactly. If variable is false, it's missing something here. So expect boolean of 1 to be false. Okay, I'm kind of cheating because I'm using GitHub Copilot and it's impressively good to do write tests. It's super intelligent and it actually creates the test basis on the functions that you have here. So if you want to enter the world of testing this year, this is the best moment to do it. I suggest you at a certain point to deactivate the Copilot if you want to learn, because it does all the work for you. Let's save this and just let's run your test. So as you can see, this is something similar to Jest. It's gonna tell you, okay, how many test files, how many tests, and how many they pass. Let's check how it shows when you do something wrong. So in this case, I tweak this one to return an error, and it gives you an assertion error and tells you like, okay, false to equal true, whatever, yada yada, and it gives you what's happening there. Okay, cool. Let's fix it again by putting false here. And something I really like, and you can see how quick it's to change. Of course, this is like a really small test. It's gonna be more visible when we have a large project with a lot of tests, and you will see how fast it is, especially in the pipelines. I'm gonna show you something really cool. If you just said, let's create in the package.json another command, okay, another script. And this is gonna be test, but it's gonna be UI. And why UI? You're gonna see. So we're gonna pass this flag here to the command line, and then basically what it will do is Vitest UI. So we have to install it first. Okay, cool. So it doesn't come by default, which is understandable because it's like a, what happened? Cannot find it. Weird. So what happens if I use it? Well, actually it did install it, so there is an error there on the command. I'm probably gonna report it, but this seems like it works. So one of the things that I like the most about Cypress is that you actually have like a test runner, a visual interface where you can see all your tests passing. And Vitest has one where it will show you like all the tests that you have, and it's going to like check mark each one of it, which is a really visual, nice visual feedback. It boosts the mood, especially when they are all green. And it has a lot more stuff that I haven't investigated yet, but it's like, okay, a module graph where it shows you like how it's connected with the actual code and the dependencies, and you can see the code here. I haven't tried like creating one here. It should, will it work? I don't know. It should, I'm not gonna put a name to do it quickly. I just want to see if it works. Expect is boolean. Let's pass it something crazy like an empty array or something like that to be true. We actually did, but there is a syntax error, I think. Let's see. So here. Where is the error? It should. Yeah. Oh, of course, there is one here. Okay. Oh, so you can edit them here. It's gonna be updated here in the test. Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't know about this part. So you can actually create ones here. Like if I erase it and save. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Like, kudos for that. Amazing. You have the console here and the report. Okay, kind of nice. Let's see what else we can do. In the features, we explained something regarding the Jest matchers and the assertions. So what does it mean? You see here that there is to be true, and this is like a Jest assertion. The cool thing is that we can also use chai ones, and by chai ones I mean to be true. I see like pipes of like functions that you use, and instead of putting one function and passing a variable, you can say this to be false, like this. I'm really bad at explaining this part because I'm not an expert, but I know that chai does it this way, and if you save, it will still work, which is super cool. Let's go to the Mocha Chai thingy. So Mocha.js is a JavaScript style framework running on Node. And I want to see the assertions though. Assertions. Here, okay. Table contents, assertion. So synchronous code, assertions, Expect style search. So you expect something. Users should have, you see it's all like dots, and you pass, for example, length, you pass the length. So this is used here. I use it normally in Cypress. It's kind of cool that you can use it in both places, so you always have the same notations. If we go to the docs here, we're gonna probably see it. Let's search for it. Assertions, so guides, okay. And you can see here that they use the chai assertions. I don't know if they have a normal TDD assertions. Yeah. Oh wow, they have several ones. This is kind of good. Okay. But here you can see you put something expect. When you use expect, is that you want these results to be something. Okay, that's how you check the test. And here you put like all with dot notations. You have like div equals, nested, to have all keys, yada yada. I'm not gonna cover them because it's not the scope of the tutorial, but it's important that you know that with Vitest you can use both. I'm not recommending to use like a combination of those. It still will work, okay, but let's keep it like it's standardized and use only one for your team. So to make this more interesting, I added more tests. So in each test, I put it like a lot of them for all the functions that I have there, and also for format, I create for the camel case and the snake case in transformation, and they're all passing, but I want to show you something. So if I run the normal one, like test, okay, it will automatically run all the tests that you have. So we have 2 test files and 29 test cases, okay? So imagine that I only want to check the ones that I just changed in the repository. So I have like a feature and I change something in that feature and it's only impacting that one. So we could filter by using this. I'm gonna use yarn test, and you can pass the name of the test that you want to run. In this case, I just want to run the format. So as you can see, it only tests 1 file, and it tests 5 of them, which is this file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can actually filter which test you want to run in this operation. If we do the other one, like is, okay, you're gonna see that it's gonna do the one with 24, which is correct. Also, what else we can do? There are a lot of options here. We're gonna check in, you can mock, but I want to check the coverage. So right now, if we do yarn coverage, cannot find dependency C8. Okay, yes, please install it. So it supports native code coverage via C8. I don't know what C8 is. Output coverage reports using Node.js built-in coverage. Okay, cool. And here is the report of the coverage. So for the files that I have, is the one that is more complete because I create a test for each one of the functions, but format is only 22% here, and there are also some lines that need coverage. So this is kind of cool. What else can we do? You have the type of reporter here. Let's see. If we go to the config, git config, and here in test, let's just uncomment it, and let's add coverage and reporter, HTML text and JSON. Okay, let's put it in order. So text, JSON, and HTML. Okay, so if we run it again, what will happen? I think it's gonna generate something here. Huh? Yeah, coverage. Oh. Okay. I'm not an expert on this. Unfortunately, most of the projects that I'm in, we don't really use unit testing. We use more end-to-end testing. Depends on the nature of a project. So I'm gonna serve actually coverage to see what is in there. It's a bit, yeah, this port. Okay, so this is like an output that gives you all the coverage if you want to do a report, so makes totally sense. Cool. So most of the time when you're doing testing, you will need to mock something. Okay, mocking is like creating a fake version of a service, of a function, or like a dependency, a library. Most common is like Axios or even the dates. And something really cool about Vitest is that it takes some of them and includes directly on an object called V. So inside of this V object, let's take the example of mocking dates. So here they create like a new date, get hours, and after each, this is like a hook that allows you to, after each test, restore the state or restore the data. So each time you run the test, it will run as the first time. And here is mocking a date, which is this one, and then when you do certain thing, it equals to the date. So this is really useful, but it's not the only one it has. It has for function, which is the one I'm going to explain right now, and it has for modules, request, but this is more advanced stuff. So I'm just going to show you how you can use spy and mock for functions. So here we have like a player. Okay, his name is Link, and it has a level, health, yada yada, position, and we're gonna create a function that we want to spy on, which is gonna be the one that sets the position of the player each time we move, right? So we pass an X value and a Y value, and we are gonna describe a test. There is gonna be like the player itself, player movement. Okay, and we're gonna open here, and it should move the player, yeah. But I'm not going to use the things that the Copilot give me. I'm gonna do it in a different way. So what I'm going to create is a spy function. So the spy function, you can call it with v.spy_on. And we're basically going to spy on the function move here from player. Okay, and whenever we do, let's set 2 and 4 maybe, we're gonna check if the function was called, and it was called with these parameters. So the correct way is to put the expect spy to have been called with these parameters. So if we click save, you're gonna see that it actually ran. Let's say we don't call it, okay? We do this. Then it's gonna fail and say, hey, it's like the array, expecting the array of calls from the spy, it hasn't been called yet. Or if I do this, I think you can check to have call times. So how many times he has been called. So yeah, like this one. Let's put a different here and here, and it's going to tell you, yes, it has been called twice. This is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it also allows you to modify the movement with mux. I'm not an expert, okay, but what I understand about mocking is that you can override a function that is going to be called, and you can test several other stuff. So it should move the player again, yes, but let's remove this part. Let's take reference of what we have here in the documentation. So we're going to create a mock variable, which is going to be v function, okay, mock implementation, and we're going to pass maybe another implementation. What we can do is, yeah, just console log something maybe. So we're going to console log whatever. Console log. We're gonna avoid that it's moving, and we're gonna show the actual attributes that we're passing. So here is gonna be x and y, sorry. Okay, and now we need to call the mock. So mock, and we expect it to have been called this many times. I guess you can also, if this returns something, let's say we return the axle y and y, and we call it with 286 here, we can expect that this is going to return it. So expect mock let's do it this way. Okay, so probably it's gonna fail. The first one is gonna fail because we haven't called it, but let's put it just below the other one. And yes, then we managed to intercept and override the actual function by using the mock. Well, actually not, because we are using it outside, but let's do the following, like player move, let's use the mock one, and let's say player move. So yeah, it's gonna return what we create in the mock implementation. And that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please drop a like. I'm really excited about this year and all the changes in the Vite ecosystem. It's kind of cool, all the things that are doing, so keep the good work and please sponsor them, and I contribute to the repositories if possible. So see you in the next video. Happy coding!